Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? Hoping incredibly well. Look, I'm back on the camera. It's great. It's not quite centered though. It's a little bit looser than it was. That'll do. Hope we're all doing very well. Today we are going to have a little bit of a preview for Leeds United versus Oxford, which is happening tomorrow, which I think is going to be a fairly exciting but a little bit of a spooky game. And it's spooky for a few reasons. First of all, because we're in a comfortable position. And a comfortable position for us is never a position that we can be especially comfortable in. Second of all, because we've seen a promotion-chasing team go to Oxford and it not work out for them very, very recently. So we're going to have a quick dive through that. But first of all, got to have a little bit of a shout-out / thank you to the sponsors of the channel, being Match Bingo. And I want to see if I can get the Match Bingo ad read right, because since reformatting my PC, I completely lost that note. So here we go. Match Bingo is a new way of watching football where you can win cash prizes. Just simply get yourself a bingo card and you get cash prizes for a line, for 2 lines, for a full house, for anything from a throw-in to a corner to a free kick to bookings. Only play if you are 18 or above, and be Gamble Aware. Links to both my affiliate link to Match Bingo and Gamble Aware are down below. There we go. There's a very, very quick ad read. Now, need to talk about the Oxford United match. Why did I go for Oxford City? That's a weird one. And first off, we need to have a very, very quick look at how they have been doing as of late, which is not a bad spot for them to be in, to be completely honest with you. So I'll have a very quick look at standings. Cool. So Oxford last 5 matches. They have won, then lost, then won, then lost, then won. 3 wins, 2 losses in a nice little pattern. They beat Sheffield Wednesday away. They lost to QPR at home. They beat Sheffield United at home. They lost to Middlesbrough away. And they beat Watford at home. So it's a very sort of upsy-downsy little bit of form that they're in right now. And whilst they were previously deep in that relegation battle, I don't think they're quite in that same position right now, because 9 points from the last 5 matches have put them in a very, very good position, and a position that you kind of want to be in right now. So like a point per game will roughly keep you up as a rule of thumb, depending on sort of the level of the championship in any given season. And right now they're on 48. They're probably going to be okay. But they're not on the beach yet. They are far from on the beach. And a fun little fact that I saw the other day was that every single club in the championship can still be relegated or promoted. There's no club that's completely out of both battles right now, which is a fascinating place for the league to be, like mathematically. But we've also got to talk about injuries. So if I go Oxford versus Leeds injuries, I've had, just to warn you guys, a monster of a cold, and I still have a monster of a cold right now, which is why I'm looking very, very tired, and part of why I was a little bit on the late side to starting the stream, in addition to some Creator Cup things, which is quite fun. But in terms of players that they don't have Kieran Brown, who is a very, very important player for them. Forced off during the first half of last week's defeat to QPR with a serious-looking knee injury. He's out for the rest of the season, which is not good, because I think he was the guy that played a hell of a lot of football for them this season. They're also missing Max Waltman, who is not made an appearance this season at all. Thanks, YEP. I feel a bit of a tit after that one. Terravest is still a little bit of a doubt because he didn't quite make it for Sheffield Wednesday. Unsure as to whether he'll make it for this one. Concussion protocol, and it's not entirely certain where he's at. Then their captain, who's missed 5 games with a hamstring injury but has been back in individual training over the past week or so. No clarity on if he's not in team training yet, so we'll have to find out. And then we get to our injuries. Our injuries are odd. So we know Pascal Struijk is out. He's gone for the rest of the season. Weirdly, Sam Chambers was worthy of a point of discussion, which I quite like. It's nice sort of drawing everyone into the discussion. Rothwell also out. But Dan James being a doubt rather than definitely out is an interesting one. Because if he can even make the bench, he can be the player that makes the difference in this match. Because the way that we play is sort of, we rely on sort of very creative, impetus-y things all around the pitch. We rely on opportunities to sort of dig into other sides and cause them problems where they won't necessarily expect to have it. That's where Dan James does ridiculously well, because he's got the pace to get in behind. And there's this from Jumbuck, who says that Dan James was in the training video today. I didn't see the training video, so thank you for letting me know. Which tells me that at the very least, he's okay to be in the squad, which I'm very happy with. Like, him being in the squad at all and being an option off the bench is ultimately what we sort of need. I'm going to bring up my QR code as well, just down here or down here. I can never tell because it flips on my image a lot of the time. Very complicated. But it's very good to have Dan James in that training video to sort of say, look, he is available. He's good for selection. I don't think he'll be picked in the first team because that feels a little bit more of a risk. You don't really want to force players into positions where they're likely to get injured. But for now, I don't hugely mind him being an option. In terms of formation that they tend to play with, against Sheffield United, which is, I think, the most representative match they've had recently, they played in a 4-2-3-1, which is, to be fair, not a bad little structure that they like to have. They don't really play 5 at the back ever. They did against Borough a few weeks ago. Beyond that, there was a 3 back against Watford, 3 back against Borough, and it didn't work, and then they just sort of threw it out a little bit. This means that we can, I think, expect to do reasonably quite well here. Being away from home, it means that Oxford are going to try and actually take the game to us rather than just be on the receiving end of wave after wave after wave after wave of pressure, which works very nicely in our favour. Which means that if they're going to try and hit us on a counter-attack, brilliant. You are now dealing with Manor Solomon, who will just put a nice little ball directly onto the feet of probably Jayden Bogle, because who knows, Jayden Bogle is absolutely everywhere recently. He's a ridiculously good footballer. I don't understand why at the start of the season Sheffield United fans were like, oh, thank God he's gone. It's like, I don't know. He definitely starts for you right now, but okay. In fixtures beyond the last 5, though, because I noted earlier that they've been win, lose, win, lose, win for the last 5 games. They didn't win before that in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches, which is a good spot for us to be in. Them having won 3 matches in the last 14 shows a bit of weakness. And a weakness that we can take advantage of. And even when they've won, it's not like they've done so like very convincingly. So, for example, their 3 wins. They conceded none, they conceded none, and they conceded none. They were all 1-0 wins. They conceded at least 1 XG in every single one of those matches, which tells me that as long as our finishing is on point, we are absolutely going to do better than these guys. So I'm feeling very sort of confident about all of that. In terms of my predicted lineup, I'm going to go with Darlow. Very obviously is the one that makes sense. As John Buck has said, there's more confidence with him calming the defence down. I'm going to go with Bogle because, as Agent Smith has said, Bogle has been incredible down the right flank, basically doing every single job you could possibly want from a right back. Centre-backs, you are probably talking Ampadu Rodon because, again, it works. It works very effectively. With left-back, Junior Firpo. That isn't a question mark for me. Those wing-backs are an absolute must. In midfield, you've not really got many options with Rothwell out and Ampadu dropping back into the defence. So you're going to go Tanaka and Ampadu. Not Tanaka Ampadu, Tanaka Gruev. But again, it works. It's fine. Beyond that is where the questions come in. Solomon, I think, starts. He's definitely deserved it after that most recent performance, which was incredible. Just as incredible as you popping a like on the stream. Thank you. I'm going to keep trying to do those like smooth little segues, and eventually they're going to start working out for me. Maybe. Maybe not. That's a fun little hiccup. Where was I? Then in the middle, I'm probably going to go Aronson, just because he did a lot of the sort of hard grunt work in the most recent match that we had, which was against Preston. I was there. I should have remembered it was against Preston, but we were paying more attention to what was happening elsewhere a lot of the time. Right flank, probably still going Nonto, because Ramazani is better out on the left. I don't think James is ready to start. If he was, I would say absolutely Dan James starts, because I think he would cause massive issues for Oxford. But yeah. Then you've got the question of the night. And I'm going to run a very quick poll. Who will you start at 9? Because I know what my answer probably is. And it's the answer that I've had for quite some time. Because it's the answer that I tend to drift towards. But I very much feel like the right option here, if he's fit enough, probably Bamford, right? Like, he keeps coming on and he keeps being a problem for other defences. And it's something that I don't think Peru replicates. And there is the argument for bring Bamford on late, which, fair enough. Like, then he's definitely got the legs for the entire match. But at the same time, we don't know that he doesn't have the legs for the entire match at the moment. And if he's able to sort of put that pressure on and cause problems, then I think it's a sort of common sense pick. It's a case of this is the one that works. It adds up. I don't know. I'm going to hop through the chat though, so if you've got any hot takes or opinions, just shout them at me. Peter Evans says 2 wins and sit back and watch a ball draw with Burnley versus Sheffield United. That would be the dream. But this is a big but. The ideal situation for me is Cardiff get something against Sheffield United. So we are guaranteed to go up if we beat Oxford and then Stoke. Just because that would be absolutely fantastic. That would be... Let's do the maths. After the first match, we'd be 8 points clear, which means we'd only need 1 point against Stoke to have it borderline confirmed. But in the event that like Sheffield United lose that match against Cardiff, it would be so nice to just be able to sort of celebrate it with absolutely everybody in the ground. That'd be lovely. Wonderful. But I don't see that being super feasible. But then again, we didn't see them losing 3 on the bounce as being super feasible. So I don't know. Leeds beating Oxford 2-1, Leeds beating Stoke 3-0. That'd be fantastic as well. Like, I wouldn't complain about that, like, in a million years. All we realistically need at this point, like mathematically, the most we could possibly require is 7 points. Because goal difference, more than enough. If we can get 6 of those points by Stoke, then I can feel kind of good about that, you know? Agent Smith says Bamford, and Robert Price says no Bamford. So clearly we can't make decisions in this chat, which I completely get, which is matched by the fact that the vote is currently 50-50. So if you've not voted yet, go ahead and do that. That'd be fantastic. If Bamford plays, he brings Nonto into the game more. He does, which is why I kind of prefer Bamford, because he just... They do different jobs. But I kind of prefer the job that Bamford does to the job that Peru does. And it's maybe a bit of a weird spot to be with that. But the sort of traditional 9 idea is something that I really, really enjoy, and it's something that I hope we lean into a little bit. Hard to say. Agent Smith thinks 0-0, which honestly I can see that. Like, Burnley are in a position where they just need Sheffield United to not gain on them. So I can see that being an incredibly boring game of football. But you know what? It's a boring game of football that benefits us. So I'm absolutely going to take that. Emmett thinks 1-1. I don't see a Sheffield United win. I don't think Sheffield United have it in them to win that match. Which is good for us, really, because it keeps them slow. And slow is good, at least at this point. Start Bamford is fresh. That would be the hope. I just don't know whether he's got the legs in him at the minute, which is a little bit of a fear. But we'll have to see. I am going to run another poll. I'm going to leave that one at that, which was roughly 50-50-ish. Slightly leaning towards Peru, but I'm going to ask where do we finish? Is it top? Is it second? Is it third? Because I think so. I'm absolutely certain at this point that we finished top of the league. I'm not going to say 100% certainty because I'm not Daniel Farker, and that means that people are just flip. But I can see that being the way that things land. Hopefully. This is the key to it for me, right? Because you can visibly see that the mentality in that Sheffield United dressing room is gone. It's shot. They've got nothing left. Like, if they go a goal behind to Cardiff, are they really going to have it in them to pull their way back into that match? Or are they just going to melt down again and think, well, we're done now. Season's over. We can't do anything. Which feels like a more realistic sort of look at how they're looking at the rest of this season. Because they've got nothing left in them. At all. Which I'm finding quite funny. Wild Woman being police custody on Tuesday morning. Genuinely, maybe. Yeah. Are they home or away against Cardiff? I'm going to have a quick look. Skip to... No, Monday's against Burnley, isn't it? And they're away at Burnley. They're not beating Burnley. So yeah, he's going to find himself in a cell in Burnley, which is not the best of places to end up. But that's fine. That's all good. I'm sure it's a comfy little place for him. Hello, Wayne. Hope you're doing well. I think Ramzani offers something in this game after 70 if Solomon comes off. I think he can, but it depends on what we're looking at. Because the decision to bring on Schmidt in the last one, I can completely back. I think that was the right move. Mainly because Schmidt's experience as a fullback meant that he could do the defensive side of stuff. Which is great, because we needed him to do that at that point because we were only 1 goal up against Preston. Even though we should have scored 4 or 5. But no, we only scored twice. It's fine. It's all good. Have you missed anything? Not particularly. Off the top of my head, what have you missed? Quick predicted lineup, which was Melier, Bogle, Ampadu, Rodon, Firpo, Tanaka, Gruev, Solomon, Aronson, Nonto, Piru. Although I would prefer Bamford, but I think we're going to see Piru instead. And just the idea that we are going to go up as champions, because we are. And there shall be no doubt about that. Well, there is a bit of doubt about that, because it's us, it's what we do. But I think, and weirdly, it could just be a thing in my own head, but I'm sort of building a sort of innate 2-point gap over Burnley in my head, because I don't think they try and beat Sheffield United. Darlin for Melier. Yeah, did I say Melier? Sorry, I meant Darla. Yeah, I don't think Scott Parker's ability to be that risk-averse is going to try and beat Sheffield United. I think they're just going to play like they did against us and just say, cool, we'll take the draw. Because that builds the gap between them and Sheffield United to 7 points with 2 matches left. They could be in a spot where if they draw with Sheffield United, it gets them promoted. Which ain't a bad spot to be in. Even a little bit. Cap's currently, 5 points? Then it would remain 5 points with 2 matches left. And they've got comfortably the better goal difference. So if you're in Burnley's shoes right now, you're thinking, okay, so what we do is on Friday, have they got on Friday? Cool. On Friday, let's go to Watford and let's beat Watford. Against Sheffield United, sod it. We do what we can just to keep things cozy. I'll be putting Schmidt on for Nonto late in the game. I think I agree. Because I'm increasingly quite liking Schmidt. Because he can do the attacking side of things, but he's got the work rate to get back because he's a fullback. And the fact that he's sort of used to doing both of those things is a really, really good spot to be in. Mark Jones says that we win tomorrow, Sheffield lose, we're up, Burnley win Tuesday. Yeah, the ideal end of this season for me is beat Oxford, Sheffield United drop at least some points to Cardiff, ideally all of the points to Cardiff. At which point, let's work out the numbers. That puts us 7 clear, with 3 to go. At which point, if we beat Stoke, then we're up. And I would love us to be up when we are in Elland Road. I don't want to be in a position where we're all waiting around for 3 hours to see if Burnley manage the 0-0 against Sheffield United. No, I don't want that. I want us to be in a spot where we can celebrate going up as a fan base and in the place we all love to watch Leeds, and that'd be perfect. And for me, you add on to this that if we do that, then you also potentially get the trophy lift against Bristol City, Bristol Rovers, Bristol City. I can never remember which is which. Basically the same club. Whatever. That's going to annoy someone. So I think that's the perfect end to the season as it goes. Don't leave anything to happen in Plymouth. If we end up having to lift the championship trophy in Plymouth in front of an away support of 2,000 people, maybe that's going to feel a lot worse than a full Elland Road. And a full Elland Road is the absolute dream for me. To be honest, if Sheffield drop any points in the next 2 games, will be promoted. They absolutely, yeah. And I do also, to agree with Wayne, think we have the players to win the league now. And I genuinely think that across the next, what day are we on? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The next 4 days. The next 4 days alone can put us in a position to get this done. I would love for Watford to beat Burnley and Cardiff to beat Sheffield United, just to leave them as a conglomerated unit in the dust. Leave them behind. I've got a sneaky feeling that Watford will not beat Burnley. But that's the dream, because it brings so many sort of elements into play. And that'd be absolutely lovely, I think. Let's be honest, Sheffield, I've covered that one, I believe. I think. Who knows? Who's your playoff teams? I'll go Blades, Sunderland, Bristol City, and Coventry. Oh, let's have a look. Also, if we beat Oxford, we beat last year's point total. I think was only 6 away from a club record, which is the particular stick of choice that I've been picking up when a bunch of people have been like, "Excuse me, I don't think Daniel Farke is very good." It's like points record kind of indicates something, and then you'll get the clapback of but he's got a good squad. It's like, okay, we've had good squads at many points. For example, in League One, we had a squad that was way better than League One. This is the dream. Hit 100 points, end the season on 6 consecutive wins. It'd be tough, but who knows? Right. Let's have a look at the playoff teams. Okay, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I firmly believe that whoever comes third in the league will not go up through the playoffs. Absolutely not. Not for me. I think... Oh, thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate that. Who has just become a YouTube member, which means getting various things like videos early and stuff like that. Thank you. I very much did. It was good stuff. I don't know if we'll use it because it's more of a sort of we're trying to keep things relatively, I don't know, like simplified, like stripped back in terms of the marketing of it. But I really like the song. Can't lie, Joe. I'd love to be optimistic, but I think the better is when you lot come down tomorrow. Our performance is so inconsistent. Good against both Sheffield sides, but trash against QPR. Yeah, if you could just roll over and give us the 3 points, that'd be really, really nice of you. Thank you. Right, playoff teams. I think Bristol City stay in there for me. We know that Sheffield United and Sunderland are going to be in there. It's the last spot, isn't it? The last spot is weird. Because you've got Coventry on 63, then West Brom, Borough, Millwall all on 60. I think that's what the conversation is one of those 4 sides. So I'm going to have a look at the fixtures that all of these teams have, because you've gotten me into a spiral here. Okay, Millwall have Blackburn, which they're going to win, Norwich, which they probably win, Swansea, and then Burnley, which Burnley could be on the beach at that point. So Millwall, genuinely not a bad shout. Borough have Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich, and Coventry. That's going to be a tough final match. West Brom have Coventry, Derby, Cardiff, and Luton. Inviting run. And Coventry have West Brom, Plymouth, Luton, and Borough. So I think I'm going to go a little bit off-piste here. I'm going to go very off-piste here. I think that you get Millwall in 6th, which means, and I'm going to crank open FB Ref right now, because I'm going to predict the teams that are going up right now. Championship. Okay. So Sheffield United. Yeah, I think Coventry drop out. That's the feeling that I'm starting to get. Okay, not to get everyone too excited, but Sheffield United have lost to Millwall 2 matches ago. So I can sort of see Millwall get into the final of the playoffs, which is exciting, which is fun. Then Bristol City against Sunderland. Yet to play Bristol City for a second time. The first time they played was a 1-1 draw. So I don't know who goes through out of that one. But against Millwall, they have drawn and they won 1-0. So I think Sunderland go up, but I think it's too early for them to go up. I think it's a bad time for them to go up because they've still got such a young squad that's still developing and still growing and all this kind of stuff. It's a tough one. Bogle, my player of the year, just had a DJ. I'm gonna lean DJ, just because of the everything that he's done. I think Bogle is a strong shout for signing of the year. But so's Tanaka. I don't know. I think, can we give them all player of the year? Because I'm really happy with this entire squad that we've got right now. That's what I'm going to do. Everyone is the player of the year. Bosh. Agent Smith has a sneaky feeling Coventry go up. If Coventry go up, they will be eaten alive. That is not a side that is ready for promotion. Not in my opinion. I don't see how you can comfortably stay in the Premier League when your star forwards, not even star forwards, your highest goals and assists total comes from Jack Radoni, then Haji Wright, then Victor Torp and Efren Mason Clark. I don't think Maybe they do go up, but I don't think they've got what they need to stay up yet. It was probably better for them to wait a season. I think tomorrow's game will tell us where the team is mentally. How focused are we? I think we'll be in a spot of get the job done. Because we've been in a position where we've thought we've got the job done before. But I don't know. Imagine both us and Burnley getting 100 points and Burnley finish second on 100 points. That would be delicious. That'd be beautiful. But that means that we win the league on the final day of the season. And I would like us to do it against Bristol. That's the dream. How long will he be live for? I don't know. Undecided. But we'll have to find out. What team should I manage on FM, or should I stay with Leeds? Should I download a retro database and play with Leeds? I quite like that idea. I like the idea of download a retro database and then do Leeds in a way that is you're from now, but you're going back to fix the sins of the past kind of vibe. I think that could be a very fun, exciting way of doing it. That's fun. Thank you, my cold. I appreciate that. Joe, are some channels going toxic? Just Joe's is imploding in parts. What do you mean imploding in parts? Connor's now listening to any comment without ridicule. What do you mean? Does buying subscribers exist? I mean, I know that the concept of it exists, but I don't know if anyone does. Because, I mean, from a pure algorithm point of view, we're getting into the nerdy stuff now. If you are to buy a subscriber, all you are doing is you're adding to a number. That doesn't mean that you're going to get more viewers or anything like that, because people don't know how many subscribers you've got or particularly care how many subscribers you've got. So you're not growing your channel, you're just making a number bigger. So it does exist, but it feels like a bad decision for anyone that has done. But I don't know anyone that has, at least off the top of my head. So yeah. Leeds, Burnley, and Sheffield United should go up, but anything can happen from here on. Can't imagine Millwall in the Premiership. Neither can I. But it'd be funny. And that's the sort of position where I'm sitting. We've now had 30 votes in the Where Do We Finish poll. One person still thinks we come third, which is an incredible act of negativity. Yeah, I don't think they play off it. Wayne thinks Leeds, Burnley, and Sheffield United should go up, but anything can happen from here on. Can't imagine Millwall in the Prem. Yeah. Sunderland is probably my shout for playoff final winners. But then again, we don't even have the playoffs sorted yet. Never mind the finals. Or the winners. You know what's really fun? Combining a cold with hay fever. It's a combo. It's a great combo. I want next season's weakest team to win the playoffs. Yeah, this is sort of it. So I couldn't see a Coventry surviving in the Premier League, and I think for us to hope that any team makes it through the playoffs, we need to be hoping that it's a team that definitely do not have what they need to stay up next season, which we can hope for, and we'll see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Questions Corner for a few minutes, because I'm going to end the stream relatively shortly, because I am going to hide from the plague for a little bit. In the meantime, you can click on my affiliate link to Match Bingo or scan this QR code right here. But remember, you need to be 18 plus and stay gamble aware, and the link to that is down below as well. In addition to that, one of the reasons that I was running a bit late for the stream was because I was doing a little bit of Leeds Creator Cup stuff. Specifically, I was working on some kits, which is going to be very exciting. And I've seen a printed version of one of the kits already, and I will be releasing that one in sort of a picture form when I can, I guess. Mysterious. Ooh. But who knows? But yeah, if you fancy showing up to that, you can get tickets at the link down below. What season should I use? There's a pack from about a decade ago, so I just used that one. Joe on the parody meme, Far Cry Parang divided photo face. What? Who's really running the club? My theory, Fat was told to drop Melia, give me your snap, please. I don't think he was. I think people are allowed to change their mind, and I think Daniel Farker very clearly set out for himself. Okay, so the plan is, I'm going to keep you in, but if you cock up again, out. And that happened. And I think we can give him enough credit to have made that decision on his own. 13, 14. Yeah, that or 14, 15 or something along those lines. I just want FM26. A new shiny FM. 0708 could be a banger. It could. But I don't know if that one's got the regens built into it. I can't remember. Either way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this stream to a close in a moment or so because I am feeling grim with this cold. I might have a video available for channel members first thing in the morning if there is anything to do reporting on. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on the stream, subscribe, even become a channel member. You could even get tickets to the charity match or anything like that. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.